Hi, I'm Aashim Bansal. I am 27, 28 turned just 2 weeks ago. My real first step came long back. Back in school, I studied at the Doon School when most of our batchmates were deciding what they wanted to be musicians, corporate lawyers, bankers, doctors. I had made up my mind. I wanted to be an industrialist. I was a backbencher, so I really never knew what that meant at that point. But I loved dreaming more than taking notes and was very clear that I wanted to build something that lasted. This talk is not a success talk. This is more about my doubts, my decisions, my insecurities, and why it's very hard to keep going when you don't know anything. I'm standing in front of you with no press, no media, no glossy story. Just a plant of significant scale and risk, land still being prepared back home, machinery still being installed, and I don't know how this will outcome. Most people speak from the finish line. I am speaking from the middle, because sometimes the boldest thing you can do is to take that step when nothing is certain. With my MBA at ISB about to begin and my greenfield plant under construction, I asked myself, will I even have a business to come back to? My family has been in steel business since 1985. So you can imagine my childhood, all around cranes, mills, and the heats of furnaces all around me. But I learned something very early. Legacy isn't passed down. Legacy is something what you earn. This itch to always create something, to do something, led me to a small venture back in school. It was called the Dosco Dairy, just plain milk for athletes after games. Nothing fancy, nothing high tech, but the demand. There were cartons stacked all over my room. It gave an impression I was running a milk cartel inside the school. Again, it was nothing fancy, but I ended up covering one of my school term fees with the profits. Eventually, the company became so huge that the school had to shut it down because technically I wasn't allowed to run a company inside the school. The chaos, it taught me what really happens when an idea connects, or what happens when the idea meets the real world application. But this plant is a different level chaos. The stakes are bigger, the risk is deeper, and the belief is entirely personal. This love for building years later led to me what seemed like the opportunity of my lifetime, a massive foundry, one of the biggest melt shops in India. On paper, it was perfect, but I walked blind. No paperwork safeguards, no contingency plans, just my time stuck. What I thought was my launchpad for 3 years turned out to be my cage. Capital frozen, time slipping, and the worst part, it wasn't the money that was stuck, it was me. Because I had put everything into it, my name, my time, my energy, my future, and yet nothing was moving. But that phase was a very physically, mentally challenging phase for me. It did break me, but eventually something new was born. I asked myself, I had to face the toughest question out of all. Do I keep reviving what's broken, or I finally build something that's mine? Also, something very interesting. While I was preparing for this very talk, something happened back home. Something 45 years in the making. A generational difference came to a close. Sudden, necessary, and overdue. We had to buy out a share at a price no one wanted to pay. But maybe that was the cost of the clarity. I asked myself, should I be even giving this talk? At one point, I'm talking about my step and moving forward, and on the other hand, we are closing and I was processing something what happened back home. Coming to my new plant, it took me around 6 to 8 months while searching for my land. Early mornings, driving across Punjab, farm to farmland, no brokers, no shortcuts. Because I wasn't just finding a piece of land. I was finding for a piece of land where I'd bet my future on. I remember one morning, 5:10 a.m., I was standing on an empty field with a measuring tape. No engineers, no team, just me. And ironically, whenever I opened the folding tape, it kept folding back on itself. It felt symbolic, like even the land wasn't sure yet. But I kept continuing. I stretched it 1 meter, then another, 1 meter, then another. And I felt when nothing was cooperating, I made up my mind, this is it. When I finally zeroed down on the land I chose, it wasn't perfect, but it was real. So, but it was real. And then I stood there, dusty, silent, empty, alone, and I whispered to myself, one day this will roar. One day people will say this is where it began. And that whisper is becoming a reality. Welcome to QIPL, Quality Industries Private Limited. It's a banner under QSM. We are building a green steel age tech plant which is powered by captive 22 megawatt solar capacity, which is built for tier 1 auto, construction, defense, future grade steel. From forging components to fabricating trusses, from industrial output to national capacities. But these aren't the headlines I care about. Real leaders, real builders don't care. They just keep on building when no one's watching. Every day brings me new problems. Cash flows, a bank call that makes my heart race, a machine stuck in customs, a vendor who ghosts. But you keep going. Most people say the hard part is starting. I would say the hard part is staying. Staying when no one's watching. Staying when nothing's moving. Staying when everything inside you screams, cut your losses. But you keep going because you're building something only you can see. One day others will see it too. I would just say a person should keep going. I would like to conclude my talk by the following. I don't know why people say aim for the sky when there are footprints on the moon. Thank you.